Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is Thursday Night Football on EA Sports. Coming up, Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins face off with Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. I'll see you again at halftime as we preview some of the action coming up on Sunday. But for now, it's Thursday Night Football. And on the call, as always, it's Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. It's the National Football League presented by EA Sports. They do it big here in Houston, and a second ago it was a Texas-sized welcome for their hometown guys. They're fired up and ready to go as they get set to match up with Ryan Tannehill and the visiting Miami Dolphins. Hi again, everyone. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Texan ball club entering play here. They've got all W's on the ledger so far, a perfect 6-0.
Yeah, still a long way to go in this season, but they're showing everyone early on that they intend to be there in the end.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Dolphins, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes that actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. The former national champion at Clemson bringing him onto the field, and that's the signal caller, Deshaun Watson.
Okay, I'm not taking a turn to negative town, even though it's going to sound like it. The 2 interceptions he threw last week, those obviously have to be eliminated, and that was the focus of practice this week. But let's face it, he did throw 3 touchdown passes.
And they got the win.
And they got the win, so I think it was a good week for him to work on things. Had some positives, the win being first and foremost. Now he's just got to eliminate those interceptions.
And not a whole lot doing there, so he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. And let's look here at the Houston offense.
Come up the lowest yards per carry average of his career is Lamar Miller at 3.7, and that's not normal for him because of his versatility. Can catch it out of the backfield, but his best attribute, high-volume ball carrier. Runs it inside with power, physicality, and some really good vision in order to break some big runs.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Here's Watson. And this one complete to Will Fuller. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. A pickup of 11 and a Texans first down.
Well, they obviously red man covers their partner, and he got downfield, broke down the defender, made him
What do you mean by that, bro?
Yeah, he made him think he was going to run a different route. Probably thought he was going to take it upfield. Then he curls back inside for the completion.
And not much room to operate as he'll get this up only to about the 41. Tackle made there by Kiko Alonso. And a look at the starters for the Miami defense.
I'm like everyone. I've got a soft spot for the underdog story. And even though Rashad Jones was taken in the 5th round, which isn't so bad, still to think that he's now a perennial Pro Bowl player, went to a 2nd Pro Bowl this past January, that's coming almost out of nowhere. But why does he do it? Covers well, tackles well, but best of all, he leads. That secondary that he plays with, they follow him.
Eluding the pressure right. The catch made by DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, now he bowls him over. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. A very solid gain of 27.
And let's face it, that what we just saw there, not a surprise, is it? I mean, this is what he does well. And if you don't tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, this is the end result. Big yardage afterwards.
Got the speed, the agility, so good with run after catch. And we're only in the 1st quarter, so they better get a wrangle and a hold on that quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's really difficult to try and defend him is if you want to press him so that you get him on the ground quickly after the catch, a lot of times he'll just run past you at the initial point of contact, and he'll go deep. Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high power, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace. Pressure, and that's certainly going to be a key to this game going forward. And that time, they were able to get in there and influence the throw. And remember, quarterbacks got to get rid of it. They don't have the Tucker rule that they can fall back on anymore.
And now the third down throw incomplete as well. And the trick play doesn't work. Good reaction there defensively, and it'll be fourth down. Fairbairn able to put this one through. And it's now 3-0 Texans. So the first points of the night belong to our home team as they're able to take the opening kickoff and at least get 3 points out of it.
Yeah, and that helps the crowd, right? It helps people feel good about why they're there watching this game. They moved the ball well on their opening drive.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Jakeem Grant now to return. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here come the Dolphins now as they get set to take over on offense. Ryan Tannehill will be orchestrating the offense, the top 10 pick back in 2012.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets, and bottom line, how do they get a win?
They'll run with Drake, and he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively, because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuck that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Got a man open. That's Devontae Parker complete. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. Tannehill with a hook up to Parker for the Dolphin first.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
On second down, it's Drake. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple up to the 38. The Miami Dolphins starting lineup now, and Kenyon Drake, a guy to watch.
He has the ability to affect the game in so many different ways. In the return game, bringing it back himself. Also can be a gunner on the punt coverage team and did that very well at Alabama, but has the ability to run the ball out of the backfield as well as catch it. Kenyon Drake, you can use him so many different ways.
Throwing on third down, Tannehill. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And a shot taken on third down, unsuccessful. Fourth down now.
But that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice, getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Ellington now to return it. Oh, a little 360. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the Texans are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. And now out comes Houston. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few. Yeah,
once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. From the gun, here's Watson going deep for Hopkins and almost picked off. I guess the good news for them now, it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Back to throw, Watson. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Robert Quinn in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10.
I don't know why you would do that. It's almost guaranteed points the other way. I mean, I get it if it's a late-game situation, maybe even 4th and inches. But, boy, that's a huge risk to take.
Yeah, now they're set up in prime position going the other way. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 3-0 is our score. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you and you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter begins with the Dolphins in possession of the football. And they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. Another shot from the 9 on 2nd and goal. Out of the gun, Tannehill. And that is, I think he caught it. He did, but they'll say out of bounds. It'll be incomplete. You got a young quarterback. Maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Whitney Merciless. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year.
And that's the kind of stand all defenses are seeking. 3rd and goal, backs against the wall, and they get a monster sack. And now they're going to force them into a field goal. For them, that's a win.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
On 1st down, Tannehill. James has got it. Complete. And they're going to lose some on this play. Being knocked back to the 18.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack. But that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
Draw play. Tannehill gives to Drake. 5 yards gets him back near the original line of scrimmage as they'll be left with a 3rd and long.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
From the gun on 3rd down, Tannehill. Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back. Whitney Merciless in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
So not sure how they feel about that. They had golden field position to start the drive after the fumble recovery, but they went backward and then got 3.
Well, let's go from gold to silver, because the silver lining is they got the 3, right? You were talking about the golden field position. They didn't take advantage of it. That has to feel like a letdown.
You always stand ready to pounce. Always. And he'll be out of bounds at midfield, so a solid return to the 50.
Well, that return gives them a golden opportunity to go out in front. How will the defense respond after giving up that type of a return?
Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield at the 49. And now running right through it. And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. Oh, now Miller slow in getting up. He's still down on the ground. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. To throw on second is Watson. And he slings one that's incomplete. The Pro Bowler DeAndre Hopkins, the intended receiver. And it's 3rd down.
Tremendous coverage there. Just did not catch the football and complete the interception. But what do they say all the time? If he had really good hands, he'd be playing offense.
Rolling to his right. He may try and run for this. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan 1st down.
Now that definitely hurts, because the mindset is getting a 3 and out there, and they don't get it done. They give up the scramble and a pickup for a 1st down.
Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10. Watson now to throw. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
Trying to get that one to his tight end, and they've been trying to get the ball to him, but as of yet, unable to successfully complete one. But you know there's usually a nice comfort zone and throw into the tight end. Great sight lines, usually right in the middle of the field.
Flush to his right. And down to the 20 he'll go before heading out of bounds. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan 1st down.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a 1st down.
On 1st down, Watson. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It's way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Watson forced out to his left. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Griffin. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Underneath for Miller. And he maybe makes it back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. He'll wind up being stopped for no gain, and it'll lead to a 4th down. And for the 2nd time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. 2 minutes to play in a tightly contested 1st half. We're back to Houston after this timeout. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our 1st half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. And for the 2nd time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. From the right hash, this from 33. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals at 6-3. So we're trading 1st half field goals. No breakthrough on the touchdown front. Got a 6-3 game.
Yeah, and I know so many people look at a game through offensive eyes, right? They want to see how the game's played that way. You know how I'm going to view it, right? The defenses, to me, have responded well in this game. Like what I'm seeing from them, both of them hoping to keep it to field goals and not give up big touchdowns.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And after the field goal last time, let's see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you've met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
Go. 30. 30.
Second and 10. Tannehill once more. Oh, nearly picked. And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop many defensively. Third down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit. But over the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. It'll be a gain of 7, but I'd imagine we'll see the punt team here on fourth down.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking, because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try and increase your lead in a big way.
And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number 1. The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play. Going to need something special here on 3rd and long. After that sack, what does Watson have in his arsenal? From his goal line here, Watson. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Yeah, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
He can run for it, and he will. A surprising move to go for it, predictably, at least somewhat predictably. It doesn't pay off. And now, boy, the ball's going to go over on downs here inside the 10-yard line. So with their backs practically backed up against the goal line, just why? Why did they do that?
I'm taking it from the other perspective because I have zero answer about why. How about if you're on defense and you realize they're going for it in this situation? That's just blatant disrespect for your team. And you're almost incredulous. You're like, what are they planning on doing here? What kind of crazy play should we expect to see?
Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. As they'll stop the clock with 26 seconds to go until halftime. Now Tannehill on 3rd and goal. He goes underneath the Drake. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. They wind up with 6 on the hook up there, but it's not enough. 4th and goal. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. So the offense took the timeout. Looks like they're ready to go as we get set to resume the action. And for the second time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. And Walsh able to convert it as his kick is good. And that will tie things up as we head toward halftime. Well, maybe a nice psychological boost there just to get back to even with that field goal as we head towards half.
Coaching 101 always says at halftime, play it like it's 0-0 on the scoreboard. Well, in this case, it's level, right? Same score each side. Just start over. Now you get the second half to play.
And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21-yard line. Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10.
Go back.
Now a first down throw, Watson. And incomplete there, almost picked off. That's one you maybe expect your roaming free safety to come up with. But it's second down. From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. And we will likely not see another play here as they take the knee and head into the intermission all tied. So we have reached halftime here with not much scoring between these two teams. 6-6 our score. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, guys, thanks very much. We'll get back with you shortly. But first, let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend around the NFL. Some great games coming up this weekend, beginning with a 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff between Philly and Jacksonville in London. Boy, that should be fun. Good stuff to follow on the West Coast in the afternoon window, one being out in Oakland, where it'll be the Raiders taking on the Indianapolis Colts. And finally on Monday Night Football, the costumes will be out for the final game of October, Patriots and Bills from Buffalo. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been as tight as we expected, all tied through one half of play. For the call of the second half, let's get it back to Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. All even through one half of football as we get back underway in quarter number 3. Here comes Grant on the return. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. And now Ryan Tannehill becomes the focus of our players' spotlight. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore. They take it personally. He's not supposed to be on the ground, but that hasn't been the case so far in this game. So maybe they've got to figure out how do they get rid of the ball faster to help out the offensive line so he doesn't get hit as much.
And we'll see if they can keep him off the ground now going forward.
Holding offense.
Now, they had stopped him for a loss on the run anyway, so they'll decline that.
It's almost a good psychological advantage, isn't it? You created a penalty, and you still couldn't gain yards against us. No way we need to take that one.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Give him 2 yards that time, and it's going to leave him with a 3rd and 11 situation.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments.
Under pressure, and he's going to go down. Tannehill sacked. Christian Covington with a big-time sack on 3rd down. And it'll be a loss of 7.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. Here's the Texans offense now, readying for their first possession of the second half. Their defense did its job, yielded no points. Now it's the offense's turn.
And how much fun is that when you set things up to start a half and you just tell you guys, hey, if you can shut them down, get it back for our offense, we can roll. And they played out perfectly. Now, can the offense do what they wanted to do at the half, which is find those weaknesses and now attack them and score some points.
And break this tie. Now it's Watson. Flushed out right. Dumps it complete to Miller. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
A first down carry now for Miller. And he'll get this up to about the 40. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
That was a good run, and it got to the second level. And what I mean by that is that's where the linebackers usually play. First level being the defensive front, last level being the secondary. But the strong safety position ended up making the tackle, and oftentimes we call them a hybrid. Combination defensive back, combination linebacker. We saw the linebacker make the stop. 2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up the first down. Keep the sticks moving.
And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Here's Watson, escaping the pressure right. The Dolphins get there this time, and they bring him down. Stephon Anthony in there to get him for his 2nd sack of the night.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there, because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
He may try and run for this. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up 4th down.
I like his effort there. He got it done on his own. But let's face it, he puts defenses in a really stressful spot when he takes off and runs, because a lot of guys have coverage responsibilities.
Good job of rallying, though, because I thought when he first took off, he might pick up the first down. They run for it. Here's Blue. And he won't get there. They stop him a few yards short of the line to gain. He needed 2. He only got 1. And the Dolphins' defense is able to hold. Well, it was too far for a field goal try. You don't really gain a whole lot out of a punt, so I don't think you have much of a problem with that, do you?
No, not at all. I think it's the right play. The exact right play.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Zach Cunningham in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing 2nd and a bundle. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Houston. All even as we get ready to start the 4th. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. A shotgun snap for Tannehill. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. 14 yards, but they're still well shy of a first as that leads to 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
And now out comes Houston. And this offense last time turned it over, went for it on 4th, didn't get it. They're lucky, though, because no points against the team on the board, but we'll see how they respond.
Yeah, they've got to get a lot of credit to their defensive teammates, don't they? They had their backs on that last series, and because they did so, that allows the coach to still stay aggressive on offense and maybe go for it again in a similar situation.
I was going to say maybe makes that offense feel good, but when you know you've got a defense making stands like that.
Yeah, that'll loosen up things a little bit, won't it? Maybe you'll play a little bit better the next time you have the ball.
Watson hands to Miller on the draw. It's an 8-yard pickup and leads to a new set of downs.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, it's almost a tendency breaker.
10th carry now for Lamar Miller. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. What that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of the...
Lamar Miller, he's at the 40, past the 20, 10. Touchdown, Houston. Lamar Miller, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Texans are in for 6. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
Kaimi Fairbairn on for the extra point. Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And they will take a 7-point lead. So that drive, 4 plays. And Lamar Miller caps it off with a touchdown run. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So now here come the Dolphins. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10. They'll fake it. Now Tannehill. And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. Bernardrick McKinney in there to get him the 6th time they've sacked him tonight.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
So after the sack of Tannehill, the Dolphins come up here on a 3rd and long. From the gun, here's Tannehill. It's complete to Parker, left side. And they convert on 3rd with a gain of 22.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover 1. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll make it a 2nd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They tackle him almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd. The 2nd down attempt there knocked down as it leaves the quarterback's hand, and it's incomplete.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion. And both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
It's a 4-yard pickup, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Down 7, and they've got to go for it here on 4th down. Got to try it here. He's incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Texans take over an excellent field position. Well, certainly not the way that they were hoping that possession would end, failing to convert on 4th.
And now they've got to make sure that they keep their poise, they keep their confidence. Just because it didn't work once doesn't mean if they get that same situation later that they shouldn't go for it again. The defense feels great, but the offense, they can't be despondent.
So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. Again, it's Miller. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Watson going to give this one to Miller. And he'll take this one down to the 36. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. Here's Shane Leckler now, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. Here comes Ryan Tannehill now, leading his offense back out there. I would imagine you want to win every game big, but if you're a quarterback in the NFL, this is the spot that you love.
You've been dreaming of it since you were a kid, playing in the backyard or the front yard, wherever, where you went through those imaginary situations. Now it's real, though. What practice have you put in since the OTAs, the mini camps, preseason camp, sequence of plays, get the ball to the outside, get it out of bounds, save your timeouts, move the ball downfield to get your team in a position to win the game.
And a field goal, of course, no good. They need a score. Back to throw. Out to the right here to Wilson. And they'll get him down here at the 23. The Dolphins on 3rd down. A pretty anemic, a very anemic. 1 for 9 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. Back to throw. Wide open receiver complete. He's at the 30, the 20. And he'll be down deep into Houston territory. A big play there on the catch and run. 65 yards. They'll look to throw. And his throw is incomplete. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Green 39! Green 39!
He's back to throw. He dumps it off to Drake. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphin shaken up on the play. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. The Dolphins on 3rd down. Just a 20% success rate at 2 of 10. This is 3rd and 9.
Let's go! Blue 90! Blue
He'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. Counting down at 30 seconds remaining. Here we go. It's Osweiler on 4th down. Oh, no, he lost the football. And this is recovered in the end zone by the defense. My goodness, what a late turn of events here. And now out comes Houston. The clock cannot be stopped here. Defense can't do anything. So kneel it down, take it home.
No doubt about it. It's what you practice for in winning situations each and every week. Victory formation. Take a knee and go on into the locker room and celebrate.
Call it a victory. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10. And Watson's going to throw it here. Going deep this time for Miller. And that's caught inside the 35. A huge play there for Houston. And with inside of 10 seconds, 8 to be precise, we get whistles and a timeout on the field. 48 yards. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Now Watson sliding out of the pocket. Now he'll let it go deep right side. And nearly picked it off. He had a chance to come down with that in the end zone, but it'll wind up just being incomplete. First quarter, Charles, you really emphasized the importance of winning the turnover battle as a visiting team, as an underdog. They haven't forced a single turnover in this game.
And right now they're losing, so no turnovers might lead to no victory.
Watson, and it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for Houston, they pick up win number 7 on the year. And now they'll get the weekend off as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Denver Broncos. Meanwhile, for Miami, the struggles intensify as they drop to 2-6 now on the year. And they'll be back home next week for a date with the New York Jets. So for Charles Davis and our